Hello class, this is Dr. Fenton. I wanted to show you how to work through question 20 of your Module 3 homework. Now your problem will be exactly the same, all the same wording, except for different numbers. So use this as an example to see how it's done. Then go back to your problem and work with your numbers, and hopefully you'll get the correct answer. So let's get started. First of all, here's the information given to us, and this is an activity-based costing problem. We're making two products, hubs and sprockets. Now, first look and see how many direct labor hours are needed per unit to complete a hub and a sprocket. Well, you can see both of them use less than one. So it takes 0.6 of an hour, just over half an hour, to manufacture one hub, and it takes only 0.2 hours to manufacture one sprocket. Each year, it looks like they produce 11,000 hubs. Those are the number, total number of units, and sprockets 51,000 units. Further information, it says that hubs require $38 in direct materials per unit, and sprockets require $13. The labor rate is $15 per hour. Now the hubs require special equipment, more complex to manufacture than the sprockets, and we are going to use the ABC system. Now, the pools, they call these, cost pools, activity cost pools. The first one will be machine setups. So, we spend $20,700 per year on machine setup cost. We will set up the machines for hubs 115 times a year. We don't produce all the hubs all at once. We produce some, then maybe produce something else, produce sprockets or whatever, and then come back to hubs. But the number of times we set the machines up for the hub production will be 115 times per year. For the sprockets, 92 times per year. So each year, we set up the machines 207 times, and it cost us $20,700. For special processing cost, we spend $84,000. These are some more like machine hours, $84,000. And we have 4,200 hours allocated to hubs, and then look, none allocated to sprockets. So all this cost will be allocated to hubs. We're going to break it down per hour in a minute, but we're going to see in a minute that all this cost is allocated only to the hubs and not to the sprockets. Okay, so hopefully that gave you some good background information. So let's see what we have here. Requirement number 1 was asking us to compute the cost per machine setup and per special processing hour. Okay, so you can see $100 and $20. Now, here is the computation. Yes, right here. So, I can still, let me move this up a little bit. There. Still have this information, and here's how we use it. So, we'll take $20,700, and we're going to divide this by the total number of machine setups for the whole year, 207. We're doing that right here. So $20,700 total, all the setups, 207, so it cost us $100 per setup. It doesn't matter if we're setting machines up for the hubs or the sprockets, it's still $100 per setup. So that's where the $100 comes in right here. Now for special processing, we take the $84,000 total, divide by total hours, 4,200, and we get $20 per machine hour. So when we allocate the special processing cost to a unit of a hub, we're going to allocate it based on $20 per machine hour. Okay, so that's the answer to part 1. Now part 2, we have to use this information. Part 2, there's the answer. Let's start with the easy part. First of all, they tell us right away that for hubs it requires $38 in direct materials per unit. So just take that number and drop it in. No computations necessary. Then for the sprockets, the materials cost $13. Take 13, drop it in under the sprocket category. Again, no computation. Direct labor, we do have one additional step. Now, direct labor for hubs. And as you can see as we get into this, the computations for this course are a lot more detailed, in my opinion, than the computations for the first course that we had. Okay. All right, so let's go. Oh, we're already here. So we saw earlier that it takes 0.6 of an hour to produce one hub. So let's take that 0.6 times $15 an hour, and that's where we get $9. So again, we're looking only for hubs, direct labor. It's a little over a half hour, so we can see it's going to cost a lot less than $15 per hour for a unit of a hub, produce a unit of hub. So 0.6 times 15 gives us 9. For sprockets, 0.2 only takes 0.2 of an hour, a lot less. 0.2 hours times $15 per hour gives us $3. So you can see sprockets take fewer minutes, I should say. And so the cost we're going to allocate per unit for sprockets for direct labor will be a lot less than what we do for hubs. So it's all based on how many hours you use. 0.6 of an hour, 0.2 of an hour. So you allocate a lot less of the direct labor cost per hour to to sprockets compared to hubs. Now, take it a step further in complexity, overhead cost. So we need to get the $8.68 and the 18 cents. How do we do that? Well, let's take a look down here. Now, this number 2, what I'm highlighting here, this is only for hubs. So here we're not mixing hubs and sprockets. We're trying to find out, for hubs only, what is the overhead per unit? What is it costing us for overhead cost to produce one hub? Right. So what we're going to do is find out the total overhead cost we're going to allocate to the hubs. And so you can see it's going to be $95,500. How do we get this? We found out earlier, and it's right here, for each machine setup it costs $100. That's the rate. And for hubs, let's go back up a little bit. We set the machines up for hubs 115 times a year. So take this 115 times this rate, so $100 per setup, 115 setups for hubs only. Remember, this is hubs only. Multiply $11,500. What this means is we are allocating of this $20,700 right here. We are allocating $11,500 of that for hubs. This $11,500 is part of the $20,700. Now let's find out how much we allocate to hubs for the special processing cost. Well, our rate, $20 per machine hour. Number of machine hours, go back up to the hubs here, 4,200. So take 4,200 machine hours for the hubs times the rate per machine hour, 20, so $84,000. Now, that number should look familiar to you, 84,000. It's right here. It just so happens we allocate all the cost of the special processing to the hubs because the hubs only use the special processing hours. We don't use the sprockets. That's not used for the sprockets. So we're not going to allocate any of the cost of the special processing cost to the sprockets. It only goes to the hubs. And so this full $84,000 in this problem is allocated to the hubs. Now going back up here, if we would have had hours here for sprockets, then you would not allocate the full 84 to the hubs. You would split this between hubs and sprockets, just like we did the 20,700. So what we've done here is found that we're going to allocate a total of $95,500 of overhead cost to the hubs only. So let's get that down to a per unit amount. Take the $95,500 right here, divide by 11,000 units. Where does this come from? Right here. We are producing 11,000 units during the year. Let's go back down. Divide, and so $8.68. So for each unit of a hub that we're going to produce, materials cost $38. That was given to us, no computations. The labor, $9. Just a quick calculation will take care of that. $15 per hour times 0.6, $9. And now we found that it cost $8.68 to produce one hub. Total production cost, $55.68 per unit. Let's finish this explanation by going through the sprockets. So on the sprockets, again, this is only for the sprockets right here. We know using this, it takes $100 of cost per setup. How many setups did the sprockets use during the year? Right here, 92. 92 setups times $100 per setup, so $9,200. That's it. Remember, none of the special processing cost is allocated to the sprockets because the sprockets did not use any hours. In fact, you could have left this blank right here. It's zero. But it's here just to show you, even though it costs $20 per machine hour for the special processing cost, we don't use any machine hours for the sprockets. So now let's take the 9,200 right here, divide by 51,000 units we produce from right here, and there it is, 18 cents per unit. So the sprockets, it costs $13 per direct materials, $3 for direct labor, and 18 cents for overhead, for a total of $16.18 total cost to produce a sprocket. So quite detailed. Again, materials, fairly easy. Labor, a one-step calculation. Overhead, there are multiple steps to finally get to the per unit cost. All right, so I hope that was helpful. So good luck with your studies.